There are sounds we grow used to. The hum of a refrigerator, the distant rush of tires on wet pavement, the soft click of cooling pipes in the walls. And then there are the sounds that do not belong. In Marrow Creek at exactly 3:17 every morning, something began to broadcast. Daniel Mercer hadn't meant to keep the old radio. It had belonged to his daughter, Ellie. She'd found it at a yard sale 2 summers ago. A small analog set with a silver dial and a cracked plastic face she'd insisted had character. Ellie liked old things, said they remembered more. After the accident, Daniel boxed most of her belongings, clothes, books, the half-finished sketch pad still open to a drawing of the lake. But the radio remained on the kitchen counter. He told himself it was because it was small. The first night it turned on, he assumed he had brushed the dial by accident. 3:17 a.m. He woke to the faint sound of static, not loud, just present. He padded into the kitchen. The radio's display glowed faintly, the dial rested between stations. No clear signal, just a thin hiss. He switched it off and went back to bed. The next night, it happened again. 3:17 a.m. Static. This time, as he stood there watching it, the static shifted. It wasn't random. It pulsed, like breath. Daniel leaned closer between the waves of white noise. Something almost formed. A pattern, a rhythm. He adjusted the dial slightly. The frequency needle hovered near 101.3. The static sharpened. And then, a voice. Faint, distorted. Dad? Daniel froze. The kitchen felt smaller. Dad, can you hear me? It sounded like Ellie. Not perfect, not clean, but close enough to fracture something inside him. He stumbled backward, knocking into the table. The radio crackled violently and returned to static. He didn't sleep after that. The next night, he waited. 3:16. Silence. 3:17. The radio clicked on by itself, static. He didn't touch the dial this time. Dad? The voice was clearer, like someone speaking from the other end of a long tunnel. I don't have much time. Daniel's hands trembled. Ellie. A pause. Not silence, but resistance. I need you to listen. The static surged and dipped. Something isn't right. Daniel swallowed. What do you mean? But the radio was not a conversation, it was a transmission. They're adjusting it, the voice whispered. Adjusting what? The days. The static snapped sharply like fabric tearing, then silence. The radio went dark. Daniel stood in the kitchen long after the red light faded. The next morning, the town bulletin board outside Miller's Diner listed Tuesday. Daniel was certain it was Wednesday. He checked his phone. Tuesday. He checked his calendar. Tuesday. He remembered yesterday clearly, Wednesday. But no one else did. At the hardware store, Mr. Collins laughed gently. Long week, huh? Daniel drove home unsettled. At 3:17 that night, the radio turned on again. This time the voice sounded strained. They don't like when people notice. Who doesn't? Static swallowed the first half of the reply, the signal. The kitchen lights flickered. Daniel felt the air pressure shift the way it does before a storm. You have to come to the tower. What tower? The old one outside town. Daniel knew the one. The abandoned broadcasting station past the tree line. The one kids dared each other to approach. They're correcting mistakes, Ellie's voice said. And I was one. The words landed heavier than the static. The accident. The truck that had run the red light, the way the police report had described it, as unavoidable. They were wound. The voice continued faintly, but not cleanly. Daniel's chest tightened. Rewound what? Us. The radio shrieked with feedback. The voice fractured. You weren't supposed to remember. The transmission cut. The next day, Daniel drove to the tower. It stood crooked against the gray sky. Wires hung loose. The building door was locked, but there were fresh tire tracks in the mud, and a faint electrical hum from inside. He pressed his ear to the metal door. Nothing. Then, very faintly, static. That night, 3:17 came and went in silence. The radio did not turn on. Daniel waited. 3:19. 3:19, nothing. The next morning, the town bulletin board read Thursday.
Daniel felt something drain from him. He checked his phone. Thursday. He couldn't remember Wednesday at all. Not clearly, just fragments. A tower, static, a voice. He looked at the radio on the counter. It was dark, unremarkable, old. He picked it up. For a moment he almost couldn't remember why he'd kept it. Almost as he turned to leave the kitchen, the dial shifted slightly on its own. Just a hair, resting once more near 101.3. And though the radio made no sound, Daniel could have sworn the silence was listening. The signal fades, the noise returns, but sometimes what disappears is not gone. It's only been adjusted between the static.